welcome to another episode of Routes Through Pokemon Adventures. I'm Ruby.
I'm Shea Locke.
And together we are a father-daughter duo going through the Pokemon video games, the Pokemon Adventures manga, and the Pokemon anime. Today we will be covering 3 chapters of the manga from Volume 17, 7 episodes of anime, 5 will be the first 5 episodes of Season 7 as we start that season, and 2 will just be Chronicles. Alright, but before we get into the manga, let's catch up on what we've been doing.
What has been going on?
Well, this weekend was the Set in Mai, so we had...
Oh, yeah. I was working, so...
Yeah, like a loser.
So, yeah, the Norwegian Independence Day celebration.
Yep, so we had garage sales on Friday and went around, looked at everything. Didn't get a lot of stuff, personally. I got a hammock, which I like.
I got, like, a arsenal of Nerf guns.
Yeah, there was one garage sale where it had, like, 30 Nerf guns or something, like, all for $1 each.
Yeah, and he had, like, $10 of spending money at least, so...
Mm-hmm. So, you know, got a little tagged. I'm guessing Mom, who was also running the garage sale, was like, yeah, there's a lot of Nerf guns on that table, but it's like a fraction of what my child still has downstairs. She forced him to get rid of some.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Maybe we should get our families together so the boys can all Nerf each other out.
Fun.
And then what happened on Saturday?
Saturday, I had the 5K, which was fun. Me and my mom and Vi ran that.
Did you all stick together, or did you just run as fast as you could and get in when you get in?
Well, like, fast as we could, best pace or whatever, you know, like, yeah. But we didn't stick together.
Okay.
Vi beat me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard it ended up being, like, youngest, oldest. Like, it was Vi, you, Mom, Grandma, and then Grandma's sister.
Yeah, and then a couple, like, aunt, cousins, second, fourth removed cousin.
Sure.
I don't know. That whole...
Yep.
My grandma.
On your mother's side, her family.
Yeah, but, like, on my mother's side, my grandma, her sister.
Yeah.
Her sister's family was all there. That's what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
And so a couple of them, and they were age order, too.
Sure, that makes sense.
Well, actually, I think there was one person that came in after a couple other people.
Okay.
And that wasn't age order.
But at least the ones that I'm more familiar with, at least.
I, like, recognize all their faces, but I'm like, I don't really know you people.
Yeah, that was the first 5K I ever did, was that one.
Mine was probably the turkey trot.
Yes.
My birthday.
And that's not including the training, because I've run basically a 5K training before some of those. But
yeah.
I didn't train a lot, and I'd never run 5Ks before. I was not considered a runner growing up. So, but one year, I had to do it right after an overnight shift at work.
Yeah,
so I had my
was told about that.
Work boots on, and I ran it in my work boots.
And Vi had, like, I think he probably had his boots on and his
Nice.
jeans and stuff, and he's like son, like father or whatever.
Darn straight. We just do it. We're not necessarily going for speed. I wasn't trying to win anything at that point or break any records of my own. Or
Yeah, poor Vi didn't win anything, but he was really fast.
Nice.
Only Grandma and her sister won something. They got second and third in their category.
Cass? Yeah, I heard about that.
There was
only 3. Yeah, Cass, we went out for a 3-mile run today because we are trying to get ready for a different 5K coming up. And your mom was pushing the stroller, so she was practicing pushing the stroller for the 3 miles with 3 kids in it. And
3? Oh, Thistle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Thistle, Bobo, or Maltese, and Evergreen. Because Evergreen, legs don't work.
He could run 3 miles at this rate. He's like...
He's not quite there.
At the garage sales, I was like, walking behind him. I don't pay 100% attention, but I keep looking back to make sure there's no cars or anything. I looked back and I was like, where did you go?
Yeah.
He, like, was running. He's gotten so much. And I was holding his hand in the hall, and he was walking.
Yeah.
And, like, it was kind of hard, and he was, like, pulling on it and stuff. But then he stood there, and he thought he was, using my hand, but he wasn't at all. He just stood there.
I love it. Yeah, he's definitely getting stronger and better in that regard, and I'm very excited. He couldn't quite run without the assistance of, like, his walker, but then usually you can't take that on a lot of the parts of a run. Like, the paths don't always contribute well to that, so I don't think you can quite do it yet.
Okay.
But he's
But with the
getting there.
walker, like, it's so much easier to use than someone's hand.
When he
and,
gets if he learns how to use
elbow
arm canes or elbow canes or whatever, then he could maybe do it.
Yeah.
Might even be easier because it won't be all running because he'll just swing himself with the canes.
He would.
Yeah, I would. What else was I gonna say about that? Oh, but Castle, Rosella, Vavai, and CK all went for the run too, and Castle was doing phenomenal. He was ahead of everybody.
Okay.
But I think Five Eye was next in line. So, because you were saying he was fast, I'm like, yep, he was doing pretty good. And CK was excited because he
10-minute miles
beat Rosella
consistently.
Yeah, that's nice. I can do 10-minute miles at least, or I used to be able to do 10-minute miles for 3 miles on a treadmill, but that's very different than we're running outside.
Yeah, my fastest mile is like 9, but like.
Yeah, I can do like a 9-minute mile, but I couldn't do it for 3 miles.
No.
I'm not there.
It's the consistency.
Yeah.
I did like 12-minute miles consistently, which I think is pretty good.
That's actually really good. Yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah.
For the amount of like times you've done it or trained for it. That's really good, I think.
Like being like, I trained a couple days.
Yeah.
You know, guys?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, 5Ks aren't too bad.
No.
And let's see, so far we did watch Black Panther recently, and we watched that kind of out of order because it technically came out after Thor Ragnarok, but Thor Ragnarok leads into Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
So Ragnarok is next on our list. We were hoping to watch it yesterday, but somebody was still out hunting trying to get a turkey. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a few movies still to go. 5 movies? Yeah, 5 movies still to go before Flame runs off to camp. So
When does he leave?
the 7th of June.
Still got time.
Not a lot.
No.
We might have a couple of back-to-back nights.
If we do that, we should do that with Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War.
Oh, I don't mean like 2 movies in one night. I mean like.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But we should do that with those movies.
We'll see.
It was that
Ah. Actually, I think I have it lined up to do so at the moment, but because it was going to be Ragnarok, and then we'd have a couple days, or at least one day of not watching. No, a couple days of not watching, and then something. So now the next one is Wednesday, and then I want one on Thursday, so it'll be back to back, or Thursday, Friday, one of the two. I don't remember. So we might, since Wednesday night things are not a thing at the moment. But yeah, besides that, I've been working. I have an RPG that I was working on that I have to run on Saturday. And I hope I have everything squared away, but I still need to read through it and get myself more familiar with what I put together so that I can run it smoothish. But I have all the character sheets printed off and stuff, and I think they look kind of nice. And I have maps of the train cars because it's going to be a kind of a steampunk train heist thing.
You should do an RPG for my birthday. Have all my friends over, we can have snacks.
I've seriously considered retooling the one I just made so that I can just easily convert that to your birthday. I just have to, switch up the characters a little bit because they're all men right now.
But what if I wanted something different?
What do you want?
Like a cool fantasy.
Oh.
Also, steampunk could be cool.
It is cool. And it's still technically fantasy, just not swords and sorcery fantasy.
Yeah, but like swords and dragons, that's cool.
Mine involves time stuff.
That's also cool. No, I'll probably like whatever it is.
But you prefer the swords and sorcery fantasy?
And like enchanted forest.
I wouldn't even have to create one. I would just go look at D&D modules and just grab one, or Savage Worlds or whatever.
But then that won't be as special.
That's true.
But it's okay because I like the one you have. But like, cool warrior, long hair, wind blowing.
Yeah. I have a gunslinger with time bullets.
I'm so proud.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I got going on. I've been busy. Very busy.
Yeah,
trying to get things squared away for the summer episodes because I have to finish writing the script for the story because there will be a summer story which will go over. I'm hoping it'll be about 4 weeks or something, and then I have a couple of side game stuff I'm working on. So,
fun.
Yeah. So trying to get all that squared away so I can have it all up for the summer. But I was really struggling on some editing yesterday because it was not working properly.
You're okay.
I'm okay.
All right, now that we've caught up on what we've been doing, let's get into some manga.
So we left off with what we read before. Ruby battled a member of Team Magma in a sub and then escaped, which allowed Team Magma to get away with the sub. But Ruby saved others in the process. Then Sapphire met the Trickmaster and Watson, helped them discover New Mauville, and earned her Dynamo badge. She also gained a Dawn fan. And now
we start with chapter 206, Not So Fetching Feebas.
Ruby surfaces in his escape pod and hopes that Mr. Doc, Captain Stern, and the chairman are all okay. Then he finds out he is all the way out at Route 118, which was the route to the east of Mauville City that we explored only part of because the water got in our way. He sees that the sub theft is all over the news, and he thinks about going back to Slateport to let the others know he's safe. But then he realizes that he'll end up on the news, and his dad will find him. Then his mom sees on the news that Ruby was involved, and she mentioned that Norman has been looking for him. Ruby decides to continue floating by in the escape pod, but then he gets tangled up in someone's fishing line. The swimmer fisherman is upset and makes Ruby help him fish for a bit.
And while Ruby's fishing, he keeps catching Feebas, and he's like, this is ugly, throws it back. This is ugly, throws it back. This is ugly, throws it back.
Yeah, because he's sure that this isn't what the guy must be looking for.
Yeah, he's like,
because it's so ugly.
Ugly.
But apparently they're rare, so he catches things like you do. And people want them. Ruby relates to wanting a specific Pokemon and shows a picture of the melodic that he's looking for. This is what you call irony, because Feebas evolve into melodic. The beautiful Pokemon he wants, he's catching constantly right now, and he doesn't even know it.
Well, not exactly.
But that's what he's after.
He's not catching the melodic.
Yeah, but he wants to get one so he can get the other Pokemon.
Don't you think the swimmer would know and tell him?
I don't know. And during their convo, something is glaring from some bushes.
There, in the bushes.
Then, back at Slateport, Gabby, the reporter, is explaining that Team Aqua was involved in the attempt to steal from President Stone. And then Norman shows up wanting to hear the details as well.
And then we start chapter 207, On the Loose and Hyper with the Zangoose and Seviper, Part 1.
They start to explain the incident with the president to Norman, and that is not what he wants to know. So he dives into the water, studies the currents, and looks at surveillance and takes the surveillance so he can find his son.
Shouldn't you be attending your gym?
That does get brought up at some point. This reveals to Gabby the relation, and they want to talk to the boy to get more info because she realizes the team that attacked Slateport was not Team Aqua, which they were around for the Team Aqua attack before. Back to Ruby and the swimmer, fisherman guy. We find they fished until nightfall and have nothing to show for it. Then the thing in the bushes pops out, and it is a Zangoose, and it sees a Seviper, and they start dueling. Then they notice Ruby and the swimmer and go after them.
Because the swimmer was being ridiculously loud.
Ruby finds his Pokenav is missing, and his Pokeballs go flying out toward the chasing Pokemon, and Seviper's fangs and Zangoose's claws crack into them, and they are the ones with his Pokemon inside of them, so that was scary.
Yeah, and you can see the Pokemon in the balls, up against the edge.
Mm-hmm. Then a Feebas pops out of the water with Ruby's Pokenav to return it, and the Seviper and Zangoose are still coming for them, and Feebas starts to glow.
Ooh. Now, chapter 208, On the Loose and Hyper with Zangoose and Seviper, Part 2.
The Zangoose and Seviper attack, but a light screen blocks them, and that is probably why Feebas was glowing. So it protected them. Then it used Mirror Coat, which ended up hitting Seviper and Zangoose back and freeing Ruby's Pokemon.
It shattered their teeth and claws.
Yes. So then Ruby, his Pokemon, Swimmer, and Feebas flee, and Ruby uses the Pokenav to find a building for them to hide in. When Ruby finds Feebas still hanging around, he is annoyed and disgusted, but the Swimmer tells Ruby he should thank the Pokemon for protecting them and helping out, and for bringing back the Pokenav that Ruby had dropped. Swimmer tells Ruby that Feebas must like him, and that he should take Feebas with him. Ruby tries to have the Swimmer take it since he was looking for them, but Swimmer claims he can't let his greed keep them apart. But then he apparently plans to convince Ruby to breed Feebas, since Swimmer couldn't get much for just one anyway.
Lame.
Ruby is getting frustrated that his team is getting farther and farther from what he wants, with Marshtomp first and now Feebas in there.
But he's gonna get his beautiful one.
Ruby decides he'll just release Feebas later when Swimmer isn't around.
He'll probably release it and then in the same chapter be like, oh wait, I didn't know it evolved into that.
Then we learn that they're at the Weather Institute, which has machines that record the weather. Moo the Marshtomp follows some Pokeblock that are being tossed to lure him away, and it is the Pokeblock Ruby had apparently dropped back at Slateport during all the commotion. Ruby learns this when a voice tells him that information, and then we find out that the person luring Marshtomp away is...
Ruby's dad.
Norman. Then a large blast of thunder, and Ruby gets back inside and tells the Swimmer he is about to get involved in the biggest family squabble in the world.
Yeah.
To be continued.
All right, now that we've wrapped up the manga, it's time to start season 7 of the anime. So, episode 316, or season 7, episode 1. What you seed is what you get, or Kimori no Shinwaza, Tsukya Hatake no Tane Machine Gun, or Kimori's new technique, Watermelon Fields Seed Machine Gun.
That's interesting, seed machine gun. And when you were reading the Japanese one, you're like, machine gun. And I'm like, is that supposed to be a machine gun? And sure enough, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
That was kind of fun. So, we started up the episode, and we were very nervous to do so. Like, we were like, oh man, we're going to have a new theme song. Because we were really digging the other theme song. It was really good. Mm-hmm. And then it started, and I'm like, okay, the music is kind of rocking. I kind of like the music. But what about the singing and the lyrics? Because that doesn't always go along so well. And as it started, I thought, not bad. And then I was hooked.
It's good.
It was so good. I'm pretty sure I'm going to rate this one higher, even after we get through like the rest of them. I think this one's going to be higher than last season's for the theme song. I really like this theme song.
I think it's good. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite, but it's good.
Out of this one and the last one, this one ranks higher, I think. Obviously, I don't know if it'll be my favorite because we have 2 more to go through.
When we say favorite, we exclude the first season.
Right, and I'm not even talking about like the other seasons, but I'm just out of this region, these seasons. This one ranks higher. It might rank higher than... it definitely ranks higher than a lot of the other songs for me, I think. But maybe not all, but definitely a lot. At least currently. Maybe I'll get over it. But I'm a fan. Anyway, the episode starts with Ash leaving Mauville to go looking for the next gym. But first, they need to know where to go next, and May says the next town is Fall Arbor. But that doesn't sound right to Ash, and Max uses the Pokenav to see that the next gym is in Lava Ridge. Both towns that we have visited in our playthrough.
Yeah, but what did one town have? Fall Arbor?
Mall Arbor.
What did Fall Arbor have?
Ash. Which they already have Ash, so.
What did Fall Arbor have?
Professor Cosmo?
Okay, let's move on with the episode. My goodness.
What are we getting at?
The Pokemon contest house.
Oh, the contest.
Oh, the contest.
Yes. And so May wants that for the contest, Ash wants the gym, and an argument breaks out. But Max says they can head to both because they're next to each other. Which, I mean, sorta, but...
It doesn't really sound like it consoles them, but it's like they're just arguing about which one to do first. They're gonna go to both.
And so they'll hit Fall Arbor and then Lava Ridge is what they decide. So, I mean, they're still going to... Whatever. I mean, that's what we have to do, too. So it's kind of nice that they're following the route. Then we cut to Team Rocket having lost the twerps. But they find a field full of watermelon and help themselves. They give up on the perfect watermelons to go after a much larger one, which turns out to be a disguised Electrode. And it sends Team Rocket flying off. Ding! They don't say anything. They just go flying off. And Team Rocket drops some watermelon into the river below as they vanish. The watermelon go right by where Ash and Co are having a picnic, and they pluck them out and enjoy them. When Ash spits out seeds, he decides to work with Trico on his bullet seed move after they saw how Shiftry used it in the episode where he kidnapped Nurse Joy. Then the owner of the watermelons shows up and attacks with her Pokemon for stealing from her. And then Electrode lets her know that it wasn't them. And this girl, Natasha, the Melon Master, decides... Well, she's very sorry and apologizes, and then she decides to show them around her watermelon farm.
And she's like, to make up for it, let me show you around my watermelon farm.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to do that either way, Natasha.
Yeah, probably. She's very proud of her watermelons. And her and Ash decide that they're going to have a match for some trainer training, because she hasn't lost a double battle yet. Ash uses Trico and Corphish, while Natasha uses Grovyle and Slugma, as her Electrode went to patrol the watermelons again. And during the break, we find that this is the first episode to change out Who's That Pokemon? It's not what we do anymore. Now it is Trainer's Choice. Who's That Pokemon stopped. It's now Trainer's Choice, where they ask a question, give you a multiple choice answer, and you have to guess the right one. And our first one is, which is the best choice to battle Poliwrath? And so then it gives us these choices: Combuskin, Mudkip, and Tailo.
Poliwrath. What was the first one?
Combuskin.
Probably Mudkip.
And we'll give the right answer at the end. Then we find Team Rocket back to trying to steal watermelons, and they engage in a bizarre boss fantasy where they put the watermelons in the desert as the boss goes out to set up a base there. Like, what?
But then he'll have juicy watermelons in the middle of the desert.
Which would be nice, but, like, you would have to know exactly where he's going, and is he already planning to put a base out in the desert? Like, what are you guys talking about?
Maybe you plan ahead, or could you just give him the watermelons instead of going out there?
That too?
They would actually eat those watermelons before they return.
That's also true. So yeah, it's bizarre. Anyway, then we get back to the battle between Ash and Natasha. Corphish and Slugma take each other out, leaving Trico and Grovyle to face off alone. But Electrode shows up, warning them of the thieves, and so they all rush off to find them. Team Rocket is using a Cacnea busted bot to steal watermelons, and they deliver an interesting intro with an outstanding outro.
Prepare for trouble. We're here to poach melons.
Make it double. We're the watermelon felons.
Team Rocket can pick melons at the speed of light.
Carrying them in baskets, we prepare to fight. Meowth takes a bite. After some bullet seeds, Pikachu zaps the bot, exploding it, and sending Team Rocket blasting off again! Ding! Then Ash and Natasha finish their battle, and Ash loses after Trico struggles with bullet seed again. Ash tries to cheer him up at the end, and when Ash spits seeds at him, Trico bullet seeds Ash in some friendly fire.
Trainer's choice is Tailo.
Yep. That's the right answer for fighting Poliwrath with those three options. You seem to not think so.
Yeah, I know. I know now.
What did you figure out? What did you realize?
Flying is good against fighting.
Right. Did you forget that Poliwrath was fighting?
No,
Okay.
I just was like, I forgot that flying was good against fighting.
Gotcha.
I just thought Mudkip would be neutral, so it'd be best. Because fire wouldn't be good. And I didn't think Tailo would be good because I was thinking like rock or something. And so it's like not smart.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got there. Good job. Way to think it through. Because you were like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't. It'd be weak to it, just like the fire.
Yeah.
And our tallies are Trainer Training, Boss Fantasy, busted bot, interesting intro, outstanding outro, and friendly fire. Now, it's time for you to rank it.
Except that we don't rank it because it's the first episode of the season.
Oh, so I'll rank it? So, well, I did like it. I just like the other episodes we've watched better, so I kind of think it goes to the bottom.
Well, I think it goes to the top.
We'll compromise and put it in both.
Sounds great.
Now, episode 317, or season 7, episode 2. Oh, wait. We started off the season real great with 3 exclamation points. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. Love at First Flight, or Barubito to Irumize Ai no Dansu, or Barubit and Ilumize Dance of Love.
What?
Ilumize.
Yeah. It is more accurate to the Japanese version, so that makes sense.
It's probably why they say it like that. They're just trying to say what the Japanese people said when they said
Sure.
it.
So Ash and Co. take a break by a lake again, because they like to do that. And this lake is named Lake May.
Ooh. And May's like, it's beautiful, just like me.
Max disagrees.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a little brother, so what do you expect? They see an Ilumize, which I always pronounced as Illumise before, so...
It is Illumise.
Okay.
Illumise, yeah.
And a Volbeat out hovering over the water.
It's Volbeat.
That's what I said. Okay.
It's funny! Be nice.
Wasn't being mean. Anyway, then Nurse Joy shows up to inform the gang that it is the May Festival where they can all watch the performance of the 2 bugs. And then we learn the trainers of those Pokemon are 2 people named Romeo and Juliet.
Wow. Wonder how this story's gonna go.
It doesn't actually go the way Romeo and Juliet goes, so...
I mean, they're gonna get together.
And
I don't think they can do a Romeo and Juliet story accurately.
no.
Oh, you look like you're dead. Oh, you're dead.
And Brock falls hard for Juliet.
Yeah. Juliet looks like super young and Brock's like super old, so that's a little creepy.
Okay. We have some babysitting Brock as May and Max pull him back. They work together on that. As Romeo sends in Volbeat, he fumbles all the Pokeballs and he tries to direct his Pokemon, and it doesn't go well. Romeo almost drowns when he falls in, and Ash and Brock rescue him with their water Pokemon's help, and also the Volbeat and Illumise then fall into the water. Team Rocket is spying on all of it, and Jessie wants the performance to go on so she can have some kind of luck to meet a Prince Charming. But then Meowth has a boss fantasy for stealing the Illumise and all the Volbeat.
Just say Illumise.
No, I like Illumise.
Say Illumise.
Illumise. Romeo practices with the gang, and it goes really well. But it always does when he's not with Juliet.
Oh, I wonder why. This is such a mystery.
Because both he and Beat, his main Volbeat, mess up everything whenever they're around them. Apparently, Romeo and Beat are in hate with Juliet and Illumise. Just kidding, they're in love.
I am shocked. What a twist. Anybody see this comment or saw this comment? I sure didn't. I don't even have words to express how shocked I am.
May is invested and wants to help out, but she needs a favor from Ash. But first, Trainer's Choice. Which is the best choice to battle Mudkip? Roselia? Plusly? Or Plusly? Or Torchic?
That one's easy, Roselia. I could see people being like Plusle because water, but it's ground, so it doesn't
No, Mudkip is only water.
It's not.
It gets the ground after it evolves.
What? You're kidding.
You got ground already because Marshtomp has ground. I'm pretty sure anyway. I could be wrong.
Well, it still has mud type moves.
It does, which would be effective.
Roselia is still the best.
Well, we'll see. Turns out the favor was for Ash to dress as Juliet.
Ooh.
Juliet is sad that something is off with Romeo, and she apparently loves Romeo and thinks he isn't interested in her.
Aww.
Then she sees Volbeat out the window and thinks it is Romeo and his Volbeat. but it was actually Meowth in disguise, and Illumise is captured.
Aww.
Juliet finds Romeo and the gang, and they go to help find Illumise.
Hey, you skipped a very important part.
About Brock?
What?
What part? Brock flirting with Ash?
No.
Okay, what?
That is funny.
It is funny, because he's not even really, like, he's just working it up in his head, so he's not really necessarily attracted to Ash dressed up as Juliet, but...
Juliet's behind the tree, and Romeo talks about how much he loves Juliet.
That's true. That did happen.
And she's like, what? I didn't hear anything. Let's go.
Yep. So yeah, they all go to look for Illumise, and when they discover Team Rocket in Illumise and Volbeat costumes, we get a modified motto.
Ooh. Prepare for trouble, don't we look divine?
And make it double, looking good, feeling fine.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To walk the line towards the sweet scent of success.
To light up your world with my Volbeatness.
Jesse.
James.
Team Rocket blasts off at the scented speed of light.
Surrender now, or prepare yourselves for a sweet-scented flight. Most Volbeat are sucked up, but Beat frees Illumise, and Ash and Pikachu get sucked inside this little vacuum thing they got going. With a tumbler thing inside. I don't know what that was about. When they get sucked up into the hose or whatever, the Volbeat are all bouncing around inside like a dryer almost. That's what it seems like. And then Ash and Pikachu end up there too.
I've seen that depiction before.
So then Ash has Pikachu zap it from inside. And we don't actually hear what happens, but I have to assume this would count as some more friendly fire. Because Ash got zapped in there with everybody.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, good. And it frees them all. Some battling, and then the Volbeat work together to send Team Rocket blasting off again! Ding! Beat and Illumise share a moment, and Romeo confesses his feelings for Juliet.
Aww.
Brock also confesses his interest in Juliet, but she shuts him down. That was so funny. It's like, I like you too, and I brought flowers.
So annoying,
Brock.
Brock.
Oh, Brock is hilarious sometimes.
This time he annoyed me a bit. I'm like, we were literally just rehearsing for Romeo.
Right.
Shut up and go away.
And that night, the performance goes very well.
Ooh.
And some trivia. This is the last episode for almost 800 episodes that we hear this voice actress for Nurse Joy. This episode was also slightly later in the season in the U.S. for some reason, but whatever. So we actually watched this a little out of order with some other ones, but...
Whatever. All right. Trainer's choice. Roselia.
Nope, it said Plusle.
Roselia.
But if you Google the information, they agree with you that they're wrong, and Roselia is more effective.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah. So I just thought it was funny, because you're like, well, not Plusle. Roselia is actually better because of the things, which is exactly right, but they got it wrong in their own show.
Stupid. Tallies, babysitting Brock, boss fantasy, modified motto, and friendly fire. Now let's rank it. What did we do last episode?
The watermelon bullet seed.
Right. That episode was okay. It was kind of fun to start a new season.
Yeah, I'm loving the theme song still.
This episode had a little more to it. I feel like the Romeo and Juliet names don't represent really the characters, but that's fine.
Sure.
Thinking I might like this one better. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'll put it above.
Like, again, Brock was funny. So that puts Love at First Sight as our number 1 currently, with What You See Is What You Get as number 2.
Now for Season 7, Episode 3, Let Bagons Be Bagons. Right?
I think so.
Bagons? Bagons?
I go with Bagons, I don't know.
Okay.
With your accent, it doesn't matter. Beg, whatever.
I say it nicely. Or Tobe Tatsube Ashita ni Mukate. Or Fly Tatsube towards the future.
So Bagon must be Tatsube?
I would assume.
All right, up in the mountains, the gang see a Bagon up on a cliff, and then it jumps down to possibly skull bash them all. It smashes a rock instead. Since it seems to be looking for a fight, Ash sends in Tailo to battle it. Bagon follows Tailo's flight upward on the cliff, and then Bagon tries its same attack. As Ash tries to battle Bagon, a woman drops down with funky shades and starts commanding Bagon to dodge it. She gets after Ash and Co. for sneak attacking her Bagon. They're like, he's the one who sneak attacked us. But it turned out that Bagon wasn't attacking. It was just trying to fly. Brock falls for the girl, and we learn her name is Michelle. She has goggles that calculate things in battles. Those are what those funky shades were. And this whole thing with the goggles is reminiscent of that kid that used a computer to figure out who would win and who would win in a battle, and so he wouldn't even bother battling.
Yeah.
So I thought this might go kind of the same way. And it does. Like, she learns kind of a lesson on it, but she isn't a brat, and she still battles.
Yeah, but she is kind of annoying-ish. Not as annoying, but a little annoying. To me, anyway.
Oh, interesting. I thought she was kind of cool. I like the character. The only annoying part was blaming Ash and them for, like, sneak attacking when they didn't really.
For everything.
Team Rocket are spying and want Bagon and have a boss fantasy about getting one to open coconuts for the boss. They actually end up having a second boss fantasy with a different scenario, but for the same purpose of opening coconuts.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah. Then we have some trainer training as Ash and his Pikachu battles Michelle and her Bagon. Ash fights back with the power of friendship that Michelle's sunglasses can't calculate for. Michelle...
So cheesy.
That's pretty much the theme, though, so...
It's so cheesy.
Michelle compliments Ash and Pikachu, and when Ash says, "You hear that, Pikachu?" the match is interrupted by Jessie starting an interesting intro, and then they wind down with an outstanding outro.
Prepare for trouble is all I heard.
And make it double was the very next word.
Team Rocket remote-controlled blasts off at the speed of light.
Surrender now, or prepare for a remote-controlled fight. Then they send Meowth out of a helicopter hovering nearby as he has a remote-controlled jetpack. He makes it look like he's going for Pikachu, but then snatches up Bagon. Trico uses Bullet Seed, and the remote control falls out of Jessie's hands and lands near the group while Team Rocket flees. Meowth is all out of control, and then when Team Rocket almost scoop him up in a net, the remote control gets close enough that Michelle sends Meowth crashing into a tree, which frees Bagon. And then, Trainer's Choice. Which one of these Pokemon evolves into Grovyle? Is it Nincada, Lotad, or Trico?
Grovyle? Is that the second form of Trico?
That's the question, isn't it?
Is it a second or third form Pokemon?
It's a second form Pokemon.
Okay. What's your Pokemon in Sapphire right now?
Grovyle.
Okay. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, he's not a Sceptile yet.
He's not a Nincada no more.
Never was. But my Nincada is not a Nincada anymore either. He's a Ninjask and a Shedinja.
That sounds like a split personality thing that he needs to go get checked out by a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist?
While the gang head off to try and catch up to Meowth and Bagon, Team Rocket find them first, and they learn Bagon is super happy because it has always wanted to fly and got a chance with the jetpack ride. When the gang show up, there is a battle, and Pikachu is captured. Then Team Rocket fly away, so Bagon uses the jetpack, and Trico hops on his back, and they fly off after Team Rocket, rescue Pikachu, and send Team Rocket blasting off again! Ding! When Bagon returns to Earth, we get an evolution as it becomes Shelgon.
Trainer's Choice, it's Trico. And our tallies are 2 boss fantasy, a trainer training, interesting intro, outstanding outro, and evolution. Now it's time to rank it.
Alright, so let Bagons be Bagons. I think I like it better than What You Seed Is What You Get with the bullet seed stuff and the watermelons. I personally think I like it better than Love at First Flight, but where are you at with that? The Romeo and Juliet.
Like it better? Oh, yeah, probably.
You like it better?
I think so.
Sweet. Yeah, I like the Bagon's arc and getting to fly and everything, and his choosing to risk himself to fly again with Trico. It was pretty cool. And I thought Michelle was pretty cool.
You would.
I would. Alright, and so that makes Let Bagons Be Bagons our number 1 out of 3.
Alright, now it's time for Season 7, Episode 4. The Princess and the Togepi, or Kasumi Tojo Togepi to Maboroshi no Okoku, or Kasumi appears, Togepi and the Mirage Kingdom.
Oh, how many explanation points last time?
3.
Explanation? Exclamation.
3.
Alright, so yeah, this one's probably going to be pretty low ranked, but here we go. I know we just keep topping, our second episode was better than the first episode, or third episode was better than the second episode, so we keep piling on, but this one's probably going to be ranked pretty low. Because we don't really like Kasumi all that much. So we start the episode off with a bang. Even before the credits, the gang is waiting for a friend, and we get the rockin' reunion we've been waiting for. Misty is back!
Yes!
And in a new outfit, just like Ash and Brock. So now she has her Hoenn outfit.
I think it's cute. Did I like it?
I liked it. She has brought Togepi with her because she was invited to a Togepi festival. And it looks like it's being held in a hotel that I noticed didn't look very busy, so I was already suspicious. Then 2 people in costumes and using weird accents while wearing Togepi pattern clothes show up. They grab Misty, bring her into the hotel for the festival, but the hotel is just a disguise. It's actually an airship, and Team Rocket takes off because that's who they were, in case you didn't know. Ash and Co. rush forward, grab a rope, and stow away on the flight. The ship flies through a sandstorm in a desert, so that's one way to get through the sandstorm, I guess, since we couldn't.
I wonder if we'll get a blimp thing to travel on.
Probably not.
Oh.
And then they end up at Mirage Kingdom. When they arrive and find that Ash and Co. came along, Team Rocket reveal themselves with an interesting intro.
Prepare for trouble. Now there's a surprise.
Make it double with our brilliant disguise. Apparently, they were after Togepi for the sake of a man called Colonel Hansen, who claims to be the Mirage Kingdom leader.
He would.
When
He's not. He's not, is he?
No.
Oh,
That's why he claims it. When Misty won't give up Togepi, he attacks the gang with his Shedinja. He also has a pair of Ninjask, and Misty is freaking out because bugs really bug her.
yes.
Ash and Brock battle the bugs and send Misty away with May and Max. Hansen sends Shedinja to chase after the fleeing group and the Togepi. It catches up, and then after a solar beam attack, it sends Misty and everyone flying away, and Togepi blasts off in a different direction.
No.
Now, for Trainer's Choice. Which one of these Pokemon is the best choice to battle Carvanha? Diglett, Slugma, or Minun?
Carvanha, Diglett, Slugma, or Minun?
Mm-hmm.
Carvanha? Not the ground, because it's water. But I think it's like water dark or water poison. What was the other one?
Slugma.
Fire. Also not good for water, so it's definitely Minun.
I guess we'll find out at the end. The Princess of Mirage Kingdom is out in a flower garden, and Togepi lands nearby in a fountain. She is thrilled. She brings it to a lady named Miranda to tend to it, since it has been hurt. Ash and Brock's fight isn't going well, and they find a hole dug up by the Ninjask, so they go in to fight them there. Meanwhile, the king is informed of intruders in the kingdom that Hansen is dealing with, and Miranda arrives to tell the king that the Togepi has finally come to the princess.
Miranda?
Yeah, I said it weird, I'm sorry. A succession ceremony can finally take place, apparently, and the princess has finally found her true partner. Then Misty, Max, and May arrive and think the princess is stealing the Togepi. Hansen calls them intruders when he arrives, and there's a lot of confusion going on. After the king sends Hansen away, Ash and Brock also arrive. When Sarah, the princess, introduces herself, Brock falls in love. The king believes the gang and that Hansen is a problem. Apparently, Togepi are worshipped in that kingdom, and anyone ascending the throne is supposed to go out and find a Togepi. And then the Togepi eventually return from wherever it comes from.
Yay, so it can just be returned back to Misty.
But Togepi showing up and leaving is what shows that the king and queen is the true ruler. That is why Hansen wants the Togepi. He wants to become king. Brock offers his services to rescue the princess from the problems of the kingdom, and Misty is back to babysitting Brock and yanks him back by his ear. And Max and May take note of it.
Well, Max already done it.
Not by the ear, I don't think. They liked her style. They're like, oh, I like this.
Sure.
That was how it went.
Sure.
Do you not remember that?
Wait, actually.
Yeah, Max and May are like, oh, you should rewatch, apparently, because I'm not making this up. They do it twice. They do it in this episode and the next one.
Is it a 2-part?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it feels like one big plot, but...
Oh! When I read it, I was like, I wonder if the notes for this one are long, because it felt like a really long episode. That's because it was a 2-part.
Because it was a long episode, split into 2 parts. Yeah, even the way the episode starts and everything going on, it feels almost like a movie or whatever, like a Pokemon movie. Cute. Like it's a very different style for a lot of things going on. The gang want to help, but they are told they should leave at once, so they are no longer in danger. Hansen makes plans with Team Rocket to get the Togepi. When the gang get ready to board the airship, a mirage version of the Togepi temple appears upside down above the real temple. Togepi flies up toward the mirage, because beyond it is the paradise. Then Shedinja shows up and blocks Togepi and attacks the gang.
Rude.
Thunderbolt and Solar Beam meet in the air and... to be continued, because this is a 2-parter.
No way!
Which means that we do get Misty again!
Our trainer's choice, it's Minun. Minun. How do you say it?
I say Minun.
Minun. Our tallies are a rockin' reunion, an interesting intro, and a babysitting Brock. Now, it's time for me to rank it. It is number 1. Moving on to Season 7, Episode 5. A Togepi Mirage. Or, Shinkiro no Kanata ni Togepi no Rakuen. Or, Beyond the Mirage, Togepi's Paradise.
All right. So picking up where we left off, Pikachu and Shedinja's attacks explode against one another. Then Shedinja and Ninjask send in Hyper Beams and Solar Beam again, right at Ash & Co. But Togepi blocks the attacks with some kind of move, and then they vanish into the Mirage Temple, which then vanishes. The gang are in the Togepi Paradise, and Miranda explains that because she's been there before and recognizes it. Some of the paradise is not a paradise, however, as parts of it is decaying, like dying trees and plants and stuff. Miranda explained that all Togepi are born there before going out into the world, so that is where they come from, and that's where they will return to. They find the other Togepi in the paradise, and they all look weak. When Togepi are near those with an impure heart, they weaken, and so Hansen and his plot is the cause of the problems there. Outside of the paradise, Hansen uses his Pokemon to try to open the gate to the paradise, breaking the fabric of space and time. Togepi goes through the gate to face Hansen, and Ash tries to follow but is blocked. Togepi is taken down, and Hansen now has the Togepi he needs to take over as king. Ash and Misty try to get out of the gate but can't until the other Togepi glow and send them out. Hansen has the king and queen arrested as he takes the throne. And as the gang approach the palace and Brock mentions that a fire Pokemon should be effective against Shedinja, which is true. This foreshadows a fire attack being used. It just won't be from a fire Pokemon, will it? After Ash and May assure the princess that they'll save her parents and the kingdom, Brock cuts in and claims to do what he can for the princess. And so Misty pulls his ear again for another babysitting Brock. And once again, May and Max are really digging how she handles Brock. Team Rocket are asking for the reward promised by Hansen, but he says he doesn't need them anymore. And Shedinja sends them blasting off again! Ding! The gang make a plan to break into the palace and rescue Togepi, the king and queen, and stop Hansen from being king. Then we see the priest accept that Hansen does have a Togepi from Mirage and has the right to become king. And now for Trainer's Choice. Which one of these Pokemon evolves into Marsh Stomp? Mudkip, Surskit, or Meryl?
That one's really easy. It's just Mudkip, since it's literally my Pokemon.
Right? They did mine, and now yours. Actually, I think, did they do Combuskin already? They might have.
Maybe.
Team Rocket have returned, and they want to give Hansen some payback. They decide to help the gang as they disguise themselves as fortune tellers. They basically reveal where to look for the king and queen in a team-up Rocket moment. Hansen is trying to get Togepi to open the door to Paradise, but Ash and Co. show up to battle him. When another solar beam threatens the gang, the Paradise Togepi block the attack like Misty's did before. Then they give their energy to Misty's Togepi, and we get an evolution into Togetic.
It's cuter as Togepi.
Togetic is still a cute Pokemon, though.
Yeah.
And I think this is our missing Johto Pokemon to show up in the anime, not including Porygon 2. Like, I think we've seen every Johto Pokemon finally show up in the anime, except for Porygon 2, because Porygon's kind of banned from everything after the whole incident. So Togetic showing up, I think, was our final one that we needed.
Nice.
And this also counts as a gotta catch 'em all for Misty, since she now has a Togetic.
Yeah.
Then, Misty gets an awesome action sequence with great music where she sends in Gyarados. And I felt like this should be another gotta catch 'em all because it shows that she now has Gyarados, which she sort of got when she took over the gym.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it should count too.
All right. Gyarados sends in Flamethrower and takes out Shedinja. And they talk about how some water Pokemon can learn fire moves, which Gyarados can.
Which is just impressive.
Then the king and queen arrive with soldiers, and Hansen is arrested. Team Rocket is delighted. The Togepi return to Paradise, and then Togetic lets Misty know she is going to the Paradise too to help protect the Togepi. So Misty has a gotta give 'em up.
That's sad.
Now, Togepi stayed behind to be with Princess Sarah, so she does get to have the crown after all. Then the gang say their goodbyes with Misty, and she invites them to visit her sometime. Brock wants her to give his best to her sisters, of course. And some trivia. In the original version, instead of thinking it's cool, Ash mentions the fire from Gyarados is super effective, which I think is important info when it comes to defeating Shedinja, because that's how you defeat a Shedinja. You have to use super effective moves. And I wish they would say things like that in the dubbed version. Like, that's super effective, and things like that to help clarify as they're battling.
Yeah, but they probably get it wrong some of the time.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
Our trainer's choice, it's Mudkip. And our tallies are Babysitting Brock, Team Up Rocket, Evolution, 2 Gotta Catch 'em Alls, and then a Gotta Give 'em Up. Now it's time to rank it.
All right. It's kind of tricky because this one is kind of part of the other episode. So it's all like one thing. And I definitely love the moment when Gyarados pops out. So I think I want to put it above just because of the Gyarados moment, but I don't know. What do you think?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, then, as we did the entire first 5 episodes of Season 7, every episode we watched was better than the last. And so, Togepi Mirage is number 1 out of 5.
And And now it's time for a Pokemon Chronicles Training Days, or Raketodan Aito Seishun no Genten, or Team Rocket, or Origin of Love and Youth.
Oh, and exclamation points last time? Or last couple times? I don't even remember.
The first part had 3.
Nice.
The second part only had 2.
Womp womp. All right, so this episode starts with Team Rocket dinging in and flying through the air, and they are sick of blasting off. While looking for a flotation device, James starts losing some of his bottle caps, and one of them sends the trio into reminiscing back to their training days with Team Rocket. And so we see a lot of Team Rocket this episode, including Biff and Cassidy, giving us a teaming rocket count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sergeant Viper approaches Jessie after she finishes a training task where she ditched her partner. Apparently, it is one of many partners lost. When Viper reports to Giovanni, he explains that Jessie has a talent he hasn't seen in any other trainees and so wants to give her another shot. Cassidy is reported to be a great leader and works well with her partner Botch. Meowth interrupts the meeting and he wants to be a Team Rocket field agent. So Jessie is then paired up with James, where Viper introduces James to Jessie. Meowth is driving Giovanni nuts, and so he's sent to be with Jessie and James. During a long training ordeal, Meowth struggles and wants food, so James shares some of his with Meowth, because he ate his already. That night, Meowth wants more, and Jessie shares with Meowth and James. James has a dream that they will become the greatest team ever, and Jessie wonders if she can count on James, since she couldn't count on the other partners that she's had. During part of their training trek, they have to cross a bridge, and to the surprise of nobody, it breaks. So that's a broken bridge. When it breaks, Jessie catches Meowth, and James hangs on to Meowth's tail. To help the team, James lets go and drops below. He is very wounded, and so when Jessie, Birch, and Cassidy are given a new training task, there is no James. As Jessie and Meowth head out on the mission, James shows up in his bandages that he doffs like a costume. Just like they always do, like, take them off.
Yeah.
He's still wounded, but he's not letting the team down. This whole situation is Jessie's team, the red team, and Cassidy's team, the blue team, are supposed to break into a building and steal a Snorlax, a special red Snorlax, and there's a time limit. There's a lot of booby-trap security measures, and as both teams go through, we get a montage as the Team Rocket, like Team Rocket's Rocket, or whatever it is, Rockin' song plays.
I don't know what the title is, but I know what song you're talking about.
Both teams make it to the red Snorlax room at the same time, but Buck and Cassidy rush in too fast and fall into a pit trap. James and Meowth also fall, and James is again hanging onto Meowth's tail, and Jessie catches Meowth. James tries to sacrifice himself again, but Jessie refuses to let him go, so when he tries to drop, Jessie catches him with Meowth's help. They almost make it out with the red Snorlax, which turns out to be just a costume being worn by Sergeant Viper. And in the end, Bert is in bandages, as is their Raticate. However, Red Team did super well and get to be agents, and the Blue Team become villains in training. Then we go back to the present and finish off with Team Rocket blasting off again! Ding! And then we got some trivia. This episode suggests that Jessie and James met in the training program, but episodes like The Bike Bridge and The School from Season 1 suggest that they knew each other way before Team Rocket, when they were still little.
They don't know what they're doing.
These continuity issues persist with the first time Belch and Cassidy showed up. James and Meowth didn't seem to know them in the Season 1 of the anime, where Jessie knew Cassidy. But in this whole thing, it seems that they would have all known each other then.
That's easy, though, to forget.
Sure. And Meowth, in the SSN episode, says something about being the boss's lap cat who had since been replaced with a Persian, which apparently isn't the case according to this episode, where Persian is already there when Meowth arrives.
That's why this is a Chronicles.
It is why it's a Chronicles. There's also a lot of dub edits, and in the original, Beach and Cassidy also become agents because both teams made it further than anyone else has ever done on that mission. So they actually have a cheering moment too, where they cheer about being agents as well, but that part was cut out of the English version because they decided to call them villains in training and not actually succeed.
Yeah. All right, well, that concludes the Chronicles, and our tallies are Teaming Rocket and Broken Bridge.
We
don't have to rank it.
Did you catch that I never once used Butch as his name? I used, and every single time was a different name.
I thought you used his real name.
I've used a different form of it every freaking time. I had to get clever because I wanted it to be different every time.
Yeah, you got a little clever at the last one. Now we'll be doing our second Chronicle episode, Celebi and Joy. Or Mohitotsu no Sebi Densetsu. Or Another Celebi Legend.
Oh, I like it. Densetsu, because that's part of like the Secret of Mana. Their Densetsu is part of that because it's supposed to be the Legend of Mana.
Oh, where am I?
Oh, hey, Frank!
You made it just in time.
Hey, good to see you.
It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here to cover this episode about time travel.
How convenient.
I have a feeling you scheduled that in since you're from the future.
That's right. I've been waiting for this moment.
Ruby is rolling her eyes so much right now.
I don't know why.
Yeah, right?
You're both old and making bad jokes, but yet your dementia makes you think it's
Okay.
funny.
Anyway, well, now that you're here, let's go ahead and jump into this episode, which focuses on Richie and Sparky and one of my favorite Pokemon, Celebi.
Oh, yes. Celebi is one of the most unique and fun Pokemon.
Definitely. So, we start off with Richie and Sparky traveling because Richie's hoping to become a Pokemon master, just like Ash is trying to do. Not Ash is one. And they arrive in a big city called Marion. He decides to find a place to rest and asks a guy cleaning up a Celebi shrine, which just looks like the shrine from the video games. He asks this guy where the Pokemon Center is. When Richie finds out and gets there, he finds that they're tearing the place down that very day. And then we see an old, gray-haired Nurse Joy standing in front of the center, blocking the wrecking crew. And I thought it was interesting to see an old Joy.
The clones were their name.
Yeah, you really don't see an old Joy.
Not usually. We've seen pictures of them as kids before, but I don't remember ever seeing one that's actually graying and getting old.
Yeah, you would have thought maybe she would have had a different name, but she was still Nurse Joy.
Oh, they're always Nurse Joy, because they're clones. So a normal Nurse Joy comes out and says that the place isn't supposed to be torn down until next week, but the wrecking crew says that the mayor ordered it to be torn down sooner. Apparently, a new, fancier center needs to be ready before the holiday. And then the wrecking crew send in Pokemon to deal with the situation, and Richie uses his Pokemon to stop them. And after battling them, they all take off angry. But hey, the Pokemon Center's still standing.
Yep, for at least one more day.
Yeah, at least. But then we see that somewhere in a nearby building, Celebi was watching. I don't think it was a bush. I think it was a building. Like we saw it passed by a window or something.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why then was Celebi paying attention, or is maybe Celebi always kind of watching?
Always watching, Wazowski.
Say Celebi exists at all times watching.
At all times. The old nurse is retiring, and she is going to leave her quote-unquote granddaughter in charge afterward. But seeing as they're clones, whatever. Granddaughter.
That was the granddaughter generation.
You have to just say that to keep up appearances.
I mean, when you say granddaughter, that suggests that she's had somebody in her life who we don't see living.
Yeah, I was asking about that. I was like, so how did she get a daughter to have a granddaughter?
Right? It is explained to Richie that the next day is important because it is her grandmother's birthday and the anniversary of that Pokemon Center opening 75 years ago.
As old as you.
which means she's got to be probably at least 80, if not 85 or something. I don't know how old she was.
Well, what did we find out?
Yeah,
how old
I
she
would
was
say
at
at least 85, but which is kind of wild to think that she's still running that
Right?
Pokemon Center
Definitely.
at 85.
Well, if she eats healthy, then it's not that crazy. There's trim healthy moms, and they have a mom who's like 100 and does like public speeches and stuff. Like,
I mean, some people...
if you just take care of your body and eat healthy, it's not that hard.
Sure. Apparently, the mayor's plan is to build an office building where the center is and shove the Pokemon Center into the basement. How awful.
I think they would just be more annoyed because people would be running through with their dying Pokemon.
Right? Old Joy explains that Celebi used to live in the area before the land was covered up with more and more buildings, and she knows because she saw Celebi before. It was the night before the center was finished being built. But it was a time marked by tragedy as her dear friend Nick died in a landslide. He wished he had been at her birthday party because then he might still be alive.
So she remembers that night now, but not later. Wow.
It's interesting that she would have seen Celebi, but not had anything noteworthy to discuss about that. Because doesn't Celebi only show up usually for a reason?
Theoretically.
Maybe you put on a new color of green.
Yeah, I just found that a little interesting, especially given how the story will play out.
Yes, I agree. Although arguably, Celebi doesn't necessarily have to show up for a reason, because Celebi was being hunted in that forest in the movie. So, like, they knew that Celebi must be out there somewhere, and we're chasing it down.
That's true.
So, it has to exist somewhere, even if it just shows up to people at certain things. It has to still exist in physical world somewhere.
Yes, but remember, is it one Celebi that can show up at any time across time, or is it multiple Celebis?
I'm still stuck on the one Celebi, personally.
Me too.
One Celebi, but there can be a bunch because they're in a bunch of different times.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Later, Richie is chatting to Sparky in his room at the Pokemon Center, and then Celebi appears right there. It helps them find a little carving of Celebi hiding behind a drawer of a desk. And then Celebi sends Richie and Sparky back in time.
Blast from the past.
Bum bum bum. Did you guys notice how casual Richie was about appearing somewhere completely different?
Yeah, he didn't seem too flabbergasted about it all.
No, you're just like, oh, where are we all of a sudden? Oh, okay.
In a world of Pokemon, weird things can happen, you know.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I mean, what, an Abra could teleport you somewhere, right?
that's true. Yeah. I would flip out, but that's just me.
Yeah, sure. Well, we're not used to it, right? We don't live in that world.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be super excited if I was like, sweet, Celebi traveled me through time. Let's hang out more, Celebi.
Do you think Richie knew right away that he traveled through time, or that he was just confused about what happened?
I don't think he necessarily knew he traveled through time right away, but I could understand him coming to that conclusion pretty quick if he knows anything about Celebi. So,
Right. Yeah.
but he doesn't have too long to think about it because he hears all the screams from the little Nurse Joy who's about to fall off a cliff. So he just rushes off and goes and saves her.
Yeah.
Yes. And now here too is our first interaction where somebody travels in time and they affect something right away.
Yep, which would suggest that she would have died if he didn't show up.
Yep.
Maybe he saved her and they walked off, and then someone was just walking by, like, on a path and would have noticed if she was still hanging there, but just, like, minded their life.
Yeah, based off the way the story goes, I would have to believe that there must be some other explanation for Nurse Joy surviving that incident without Richie there.
I think it's easy to do, like...
I definitely agree with you. When I first was watching it, I thought, okay, this must be, the fated destiny version of time travel here.
Right.
Where he always saved her.
And I thought that at first, too. I think when I saw it happening, I'm like, oh, okay, so like they're doing that version. But I'm like, wait. but she talked about that kid dying, and he's probably going to stop that from happening because they're not going to have a kid die in this episode.
Yes, I thought the same thing, and I'm just like, okay, are we going to start having problems here right out of the gate? Let's find out.
So yeah, for my peace of mind, because I think they don't think that far into it themselves when they're doing these time travel stories, but for my peace of mind, she was probably going to survive some other way. Whether she fell and just broke an arm or whatever happened, I don't know. But
She would have had a
Yeah,
broken
that's
arm in
true.
the picture that she showed Richie.
Probably not a life-threatening thing, but he helped her not get hurt.
yes.
There were probably just like people traveling along on the side of the cliff. So like he's just like, oh, look at Nurse Joy screaming, I'll save her, and like saves her, and then they walk off. And then there's just like other crowds of people walking along. And if she was still there, they would have saved her, but she wasn't. So like they didn't think anything.
Yeah, the only issue is from a storytelling perspective, you want that to be more explicit. You don't want to have to guess because they made it such like a big dangerous situation that he had to step in and save her, which suggests that he had to do so or she would have died or something. And so the show needs to kind of like have some visible representation that somebody was passing by or whatever. Or that there was a river below that she was just going to wash down and be fine. Or who knows, you know?
Yeah, they definitely made it seem like he saved her life.
Yes. It was a mistake in storytelling. So then, after saving her, she shows Richie the Celebi Shrine where Nick is working on fixing the doors. Then all three head to the construction site of the new Pokemon Center, and we learn that Nick's dad works for the company that's building it. Richie then goes to stay with Nick at his place with his dad, and there Richie learns that Nick and his dad travel a lot to work on different projects and stuff, but they've been in that place for a whole year. And then Nick's dad finishes up the desk he's working on with its secret compartment, which is the desk that Richie found in his room in the present day.
Yeah.
Apparently, as soon as the desk is delivered in the morning, they're supposed to head out to their next job, and Richie learns that Nick has a crush on Joy.
He sure does.
And he's carving out a wooden Celebi as a gift for her that he plans on leaving inside the secret compartment in the desk, which will never be found until Richie finds it, apparently.
Yeah, which is weird. I was thinking about that too, because it makes it seem like right away that Celebi showing him the carving of the wooden Celebi in the desk was going to be something pretty significant, and it kind of is, but Nurse Joy never finds it.
Which I think is kind of the significant part of it, right? We're supposed to learn that she never even knew the gift that he left.
Yeah. You just didn't know if maybe it was like supposed to mean something more to the characters or something, and nothing ever came of it. Or like, why would Celebi show him that unless maybe to try to like make the connection between Nick and and Joy or something like that. Maybe to show how important those two really were to each other.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point for Celebi to show Richie it. It was only for the audience's sake.
I agree. I agree.
And because I am glad that we get it, because it does add a little bit of a deeper level. It's like, not only did she never get the gift, but then ends up dying too, because he was too scared to just go give it to her himself and actually reveal how he felt.
Yeah, and obviously he meant a great deal to her for her to even talk about him 75 years later.
Definitely. So then there's a bang on the door in the middle of the night, and there's a report that Joy is missing. So everyone goes out looking for her, and Nick figures she must have gone to the Celebi Shrine, because she loves it there, which is why he was working on fixing it. They find her by a downed tree, and Richie and Nick help her into an opening in a large tree. The Celebi Shrine almost burns up after a bolt of lightning strikes, and Nick tries to save it. When lightning comes down and almost kills Nick, Richie, and Joy, Celebi shields them and flies off afterward.
So this must be the encounter with Celebi that Joy was referring to, right?
I agree.
So in her story, I mean, she doesn't have a story, I guess. She just says she saw Celebi once. So do we believe then that at this point anyways, that Richie would have been there as well as Nick for this incident? Or is it just kind of casual, like, oh yeah, I saw Celebi once? Because, I mean, this is kind of a big deal, right? Celebi saved their life.
Right.
And they're really casual about it.
Yeah, I guess my initial theory on that situation is that this all happened pretty much the same way, but without Richie being there. Like, Nick could have freed her and helped out, and then it was starting to burn, so they both tried to put it out, and lightning almost hit them, and Celebi saves them. Like, that very likely could have happened. It's also possible that after the incident with the horse and almost falling off a cliff, and then she goes visits the shrine where Nick is, like, maybe it was later that she did so, and so they talked then instead, and Celebi showed up in some incident then. Like, I don't know.
So, in the present day, she remembers...
This needed to be like a 40-minute episode.
Right! Or a two-parter or something.
In the present day, she remembers seeing Celebi. And so you'd think when he goes back, she'd remember seeing Celebi. And remember him!
I think she probably would remember that there were two people there, yes.
I suppose you're right, though. It's probably not even, like, it's not relevant to the moment of saying I saw Celebi once. You know, why would she get into the details of, oh, there were two guys with me when I saw him?
Right. Well, and she couldn't say that because I think in the original version, there was only the one guy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So then the next day, Nick hasn't shown up, and Richie remembers Nick hasn't shown up to the opening of the center, and they find out that the desk was dropped off early that morning or something. And Richie remembers the landslide, and so races on Ponita, probably the same one that Joy was using, to bring Nick back. He brought the Celebi carving back from the secret compartment so that Nick can be the one to give it to Joy in person. They all turn back just in time to avoid the landslide that would have taken Nick's life.
They sit there, though, and have, like, a 5-minute conversation, and then it happens, like, right next to them. So they would have been long gone past that. That would not have killed them.
Theoretically, yes. Yeah, the animation of it all and timing of it all was a little suspect, but that's okay.
Yeah, it made it, Nurse Joy, the old Nurse Joy, made it sound like there was this horrible thing that happened. And it obviously was, you know, her friend died. But yeah, when they actually show it happen, it's like, oh, that was kind of inconvenient. And then they just go about the day.
Yeah, well, it would have killed him, though. So, like, if they were caught in it.
That's true.
Back at the celebration, Nick confesses his feelings and gives Joy the carving. Having put right what once went wrong. That's Sam Beckett's thing from Quantum Leap.
Oh, nice.
Celebi sends Richie back to the future. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling on the other time travel things I enjoy. The wrecking crew is back at the center and are working with their Pokemon with all kinds of tools, but they're not destroying it this time. Instead, they are restoring it, explains an old man, who turns out to be Nick, the mayor. Which means that kid grew up to be mayor instead of whoever was the mayor originally, before the time travel shenanigans, who was going to tear the place down. And it turns out the city also became a quieter place and more in harmony with nature. And Celebi shows up for them all to see. So, to your complaint about not remembering Richie, you enjoy the movie Back to the Future, yes?
I don't actually
Quite a lot.
completely remember it, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and his parents don't recognize him. And that's actually a much shorter time span. And 30. They were teenagers in high school when Marty or Calvin Klein helps them. And then they don't recognize that their teenage son looks just like this guy that went by Calvin Klein or whose name was Calvin Klein and went by Marty, who they named Marty then.
That's not as ridiculous to me because in school you see a lot of different faces. And did he have a significant thing? Like, what did he do of great significance?
Brought them together. They credit to him to bringing them together.
They said that.
And he also played a guitar when the guitar player couldn't play. So he did that whole performance on stage.
That wouldn't stick out. Like, oh, remember that kid
And
that played
he saved his dad's life.
And his mom had a crush on him.
I'm sure public school kids have crushes on like a million.
Beat up the town bully.
He did the whole skateboarding thing.
I don't know, just in
he did one or two
school,
things.
though,
It's just a couple.
In school, it just kind of seems like you see a lot of different faces, and like it's hard to remember who did what.
Sure.
So like, oh, I thought it was John.
So, like,
oh, I thought it was Mark that did that.
Personally, because people change as they get older and stuff, and people look different as you get older even, like, it doesn't bother me that they don't recognize their own son as the same person, but that also means that a kid that was there for, like, 24 hours tops, I think, it's okay that they don't remember that this is the same kid, because why would they think, oh yeah, no, this kid that time travel, like, they might even know he's a time traveler because Celebi's involved, but they're still not going to necessarily know 75 years later that that's the kid.
But when she thinks, oh yeah, I saw Celebi.
Oh, yeah.
We were trying to save the shrine and we were both there. Oh, and there was this kid. He was wearing this and that. It was odd clothing for the time.
Sure.
And then she's like, oh wait, he wore the same thing. Like,
They're not going to remember what
like,
he was probably wearing. They don't have pictures of him.
Well, odd clothing.
Yeah.
But like, they should have at least said, actually, you look kind of like that guy or something. Like,
I don't think so. And they didn't really have a whole lot of time to do so because, like, the episode was kind of wrapping up. Like, it's not like they had a big conversation either to give that moment. It's like, oh, wait a second. Like, I could see maybe later, maybe even the next day, they're chatting. They're like, wait a second. That kid that was there, he kind of, oh my gosh, he might have been the kid. But, like, not in the moment.
All right.
And again, 75 years is a long time. I haven't even been around that long.
Oh, sure.
No, I mean, I think you're right overall that why would they recognize him? He was, there for maybe a day in total time.
Right.
But they did make the reference to him wearing something unique, some sort of traveler's outfit.
Right.
Something different.
Which means he could have just been from a different region,
Right. And, he was involved in a few things, but I think you can even sort of tell that even though Nick is with Richie for some of it, he's singing about Joy the whole time.
Right?
Like, he's not really, like, getting to bond with Richie or something, so he's probably not going to think too significantly of him. And, I think the same for Joy as well. I think Richie was more of just, like, the glue to the moments rather than actually pieces to the moment.
That's actually a really good point, too, because even when he makes sure Nick goes back, he's not the one that goes up into the party. He's hanging off on the outskirts. It's Nick that comes up, so it's not like he's even, like, an image to remember from that significant moment.
Yeah, especially from his perspective. I mean, from Joy, obviously, he helped her not fall.
Right.
From the cliff, so maybe she would. But then, really, they hardly do that much together for the rest of the episode. I mean, Richie's with Nick to go save Joy, but she's more worried about Nick and him putting out the fire and things like that, and then the lightning strike. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, they kind of forget about him, 5-10 years down the road.
Absolutely. I mean, they even if they remember that there was a person there this whole time, I can't see them, like, really remembering in detail what he looked like. I met people as a kid on, like, the military base that I saw on a regular basis. And I remember, like, being at their house, playing video games, things like that. I couldn't tell you, like, if I saw them again, I wouldn't know it was them. I don't remember. I have kind of a vague concept of what they look like, and it's super vague. And I saw them on a regular basis for, like, a year or two.
Yeah.
But I was a kid.
Yep. Yeah, and everyone looks different as they age. Although, just in this situation, like, I think Back to the Future makes sense, that they absolutely would have no idea, especially because their kid is born, and
right.
He's not going to look like a 17, 18-year-old when, right out of the gate.
Right.
So he'll have more, grow into that image, and they'll have no idea. But in this example, he's the exact same in that moment as he was in the day that they saw him. But because it's such a short amount of time, and there wasn't a great big impact to their lives on a personal level, yeah, they're gonna forget about him.
But, like, even if you showed me a picture of those people that I spent time with, I wouldn't know who they were.
No.
You could show me a picture of my third grade teacher, and I wouldn't remember what she looked like. You'd have to tell me who she was.
I completely agree with you. I feel the same way with people in high school. My brother and friend went to our high school reunion, and they were telling me about some people they talked to. I had no clue who they were talking about.
Sure. So, yeah, it's not very far-fetched at all for 75 years to go by not to remember what this person you met for a day looked like.
Yep. The far-fetched part is that this metropolis disappears, becomes this, more relaxed, city slash town. And, how is that going to be the only thing affected? If their metropolis is that big and has that many people in it living their lives, they probably depend on lots of the economic benefits of that big giant city, and then gone. All gone in an instant.
I mean, it was still a decent-sized town. It just, they left a lot of nature in place.
Yep.
And, yeah, I mean, it would change a lot, for sure. Would you have the same construction workers? Unlikely. Like, would it be the exact same people there? Probably not. But, like, the fact that it could happen, absolutely plausible. If Nick has been there the whole time fighting for it to stay the way it should be, probably, along with Joy.
They probably didn't even need to fight, right? I mean, it was just all part of the plan from the beginning.
Sure.
Although it's still impressive, an 80-something-year-old Nurse Joy and an 80-something-year-old mayor. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're still kicking. Interestingly enough, I think in the original version, it's actually a bit of a shorter time span, like 55 years or something like that, or 50 years.
And I think we can also agree that time is different in the Pokemon world. We had Ash take, 30 years to become Pokemon Master, and he aged like 2 years.
I don't even know if he did that.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that they aged him up as he went by the time he got to X and Y, but then they brought him right back down when the Alola region started in the anime. So that's what I've heard, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Perpetually 10 years old.
That's right. It's a fun story either way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely enjoyable. I love a good little time travel, time shifty story for sure. I prefer it when they're able to alter time, but being locked into fate can be an interesting dynamic, but usually that's for some darker stuff that I don't expect to see in this cartoon.
No, and if it really was going to be a fated timeline or fated time travel story, they would have needed a much stronger setup right from the beginning to appreciate what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as Joy tells the story of, my friend died from this thing, I mean, we all knew what was going to happen.
Right. But it is interesting because I think we ended up deciding that the movie one was a fated one.
Yes.
The original Japanese version suggests it's not, but...
Yeah, because there were deleted scenes? Or
yeah, they took out a segment that was where the kid does meet back up with the lady and stuff. That was in the original Japanese version, which we did not have in the English version.
Right.
And there was some extra lines added in the English version to suggest that, like, Oak knew about what was going to happen and everything the whole time. And I think the Japanese one kind of tried to play both sides. And arguably this one kind of tried to, too, with him saving Joy, which seems like a fated thing, even though we can explain it away. And then him actually altering time by saving Nick's life, so...
Right. Yeah, Joy had a couple big things happen to her. Almost died from a lightning strike, almost got presumably seriously hurt, falling off a cliff, and then her friend dies the next day.
Yeah, there was all right before her birthday. Happy birthday, Joy!
It's a good thing Richie showed up.
Darn straight.
All right. Well, we've concluded this episode, and we had no tallies.
There were no tallies to count for this one. Lame. I was really expecting an interesting intro from Team Rocket. Just kidding.
Be a modified motto, probably with Chronicles, because it's usually Butch and Cassidy.
Yeah. Oh, wait, who and Cassidy?
Biff.
Bart?
Botch.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for showing up right on time, Frank.
Yeah, it was perfect. I was just standing there, and all of a sudden I showed up here.
Those portals are handy.
Meant to be. Well, I better try to find a way back.
All right. Well, we'll see you around some other time.
Yes, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now it's time to catch a Pokemon.
All right. I think I know which one I'm picking.
Yeah, like it's a hard choice.
Honestly, the one that was featured the most?
Yeah, but we just choose our favorites. That's not the one that was featured most. All right.
3, 2, 1. Celebi! All right, and so then this week, since we didn't have any tallies yet, all of these are new tallies for this season. And we got a total of 3 Babysitting Brock, 3 Boss Fantasies, a Broken Bridge, a Busted Bot, 2 Evolutions, 2 Friendly Fires, 2 Gotta Catch 'em Alls, a Gotta Give 'em Up, 3 Interesting Intros, a Modified Motto, 2 Outstanding Outros, a Rockin' Reunion, a Team Up Rocket, a Teaming Rocket, and 2 Trainer Trainings. And again, our episode rankings this week are number 5, What You Seed is What You Get. 4 is Love at First Flight. 3, Let Bagons Be Bagons. 2, The Princess and the Togepi. And 1, A Togepi Mirage.
Lovely. Now it's time for Pokemon cards.
Woohoo! And this week we are opening Mega Evolution Phantasmal Flames, and I have a Mega Heracross on mine.
We both do.
Ooh. All right, I start, I suppose. I have Charmeleon. Evolves from Charcadet. No, just kidding. Charmander. Fire type.
You need your glasses.
Oh, it's just dark.
You do need your glasses.
When it swings its burning tail, the temperature around it rises higher and higher, tormenting its opponents. I don't have glasses. My next Pokemon is Swinub, water type. It searches for food by digging into the ground with its snout. Even frozen ground doesn't give it any trouble. Milcery, psychic type.
I like that one.
The more sweet aromas it absorbs, the more its body swells. Milcery will deflate when its energy level drops. Krokorok evolves from Sandile. Protected by thin membranes, their eyes can see even in the dead of night. They live in groups of a few individuals. Supporter trainer card, Fire Breather. Oh, the Fire Breather trainer. That's fun. Search your deck for up to 7 basic fire energy cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Honchkrow evolves from Murkrow, dark type. It is merciless by nature. It is said that it never forgives the mistakes of its Murkrow followers.
Oh dear.
Archelodon evolves from Duraludon, metal type. It gathers electricity from its surroundings. The beams it launches when down on all fours are tremendously powerful. Oh, my first reverse holo is Absol, dark type. Because of this Pokemon's abilities to detect danger, people mistook Absol as a bringer of doom.
Oh.
Ooh.
Poor guy.
My next reverse holo is Bramblegast, evolves from Bramblin, psychic type, ability, Prison Panic. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may use this ability. Make your opponent's active Pokemon confused. It will open the branches of its head to envelop its prey. Once it absorbs all the life energy it needs, it expels the prey and discards it. And my rare is lame.
You're being sarcastic.
It's Ambipom, evolves from Apom, colorless type.
You're not being sarcastic.
Right? They live on large trees. They are said to communicate by connecting their tails to those of others. And I got a basic lightning energy.
All right, my first Pokemon is a Vibrava, evolves from Trapinch, fighting. Rather than using its underdeveloped wings for flight, it rubs them together, emitting ultrasonic waves to attack its enemies. Seal, water type. The protrusion on its head is very hard. It is used for bashing through thick ice. Oddish, grass. Its scientific name is Odium wanderus. It is said to cover distance as far as 1,000 feet when night falls, walking on its 2 roots. Smeagol, colorless. Once a Smeagol reaches adulthood, it will have other members of its species leave paw prints on its back.
It's Smeargle, by the way.
Oh, I suppose.
Smeagol is the character from Lord of the Rings.
Wigglytuff evolves from Jigglypuff, colorless. It has a very fine fur. Take care not to make it angry or it may inflate steadily and hit with a body slam.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
Eternatus, dark.
Oh, Eternatus.
The core on its chest absorbs energy emitting from the lands of Galar region. This energy is what allows Eternatus to stay active. Trainer card Stadium. Battle Cage. Prevent all damage counters from being placed on bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, by effects of attacks and abilities from the opponent's Pokemon. Damage from attack is still taken. Then my first reverse holo is Bronzor. Steel. Ancient people believed that the patterns on the Bronzor's back contained a mysterious power. Oh, that's pretty. And it's only my second reverse holo, I think.
Good.
Dugong evolves from Steel, Water. Extended art. Ability, Thick Fat. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's fire or water Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. It sleeps under shallow ocean waters during the day, then looks for food at night when it's colder. And my rare is Reshiram, Fire. According to myth, if people ignore truth and let themselves become consumed by greed, Reshiram will arrive to burn their kingdom down. Then a basic dark type. All right, well, that concludes our episode for today. Rats Through Pokemon is a Hunterfield Institute production. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and other podcasting platforms. We're also on YouTube at the Hunterfield Institute channel. Just look for the Rats Through Pokemon playlists. And wherever you find us, please like, subscribe, rate, and review, and leave us comments. Please, we're begging you. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at hunterfieldmanor@gmail.com. You can also find Shea Locke on Instagram at kinetic_card or on X at HunterfieldIns. There he posts our Who's That Pokemon, which is pretty cool, segments twice a week, as well as what's coming up, the more interesting cards we pull, and things like that. Those also show up on our Routes Through Pokemon Facebook page, where he also includes the latest Pokemon catches from our games, as well as our current tally counts and episode rankings, so you can keep up with those. Next week, we will be doing another Routes Through Pokemon Adventures with 4 chapters from Volume 17 and 6 episodes. 5 will be from our storyline watching and 1 Chronicles. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next route. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sayonara. Part 76. Geolography. After limping back to Lavender Town, Murasaki had delivered his newly caught Vulpix to the nurse at the Pokemon Center, as well as his oddish Stunner. After dealing with Murasaki's bullies and trying to catch a fire Pokemon, Stunner really needed to recover. Vulpix had been beaten down pretty hard by Beck's Cubone, Ronan. And, as Ronan had also taken part in that battle with Zeke and his gang, he also needed to recover along with Beck's Voltorb, who had self-destructed. While they were tended to, Murasaki himself had plenty to recover from, and got a room so he could clean up and change out of his burned clothing. Catching the Vulpix had not gone smoothly. Once refreshed, he traveled back downstairs, collected his Pokemon, and joined Beck in the lobby.
Feeling better?
Much.
Great. Then let's get going.
The pair of them headed south of town where they found a long boardwalk route winding itself much farther south. They were on the east coast of the region, and there was plenty of water around. However, Murasaki knew they were supposed to be headed to a different entrance into Saffron City. But he also knew that Saffron was to the west, not the south.
Where are we going?
I told you it was going to take longer now. There's another route that juts off to the west along the way. It will take us to Vermilion City.
Vermilion?
Murasaki asked.
But I thought we were heading to Saffron.
We are. The entrance to Saffron is just north of Vermilion.
Wow. And that's the best way?
Beck turned and frowned at Murasaki.
No. The best way would have been to get in where we had tried. But you messed that one up. Our next best option was to head towards Celadon, and you seem to really dislike that plan.
Beck nodded her head to the side, thinking about the battle with Zeke and his friends.
Though, admittedly, I can see why. Now. So that leaves us with this path.
Walking away, Beck added,
Otherwise, we'd have to go north.
Murasaki looked a little sheepish for complaining, as he was reminded of his role in their situation. Then he realized he wasn't following and hurried to catch back up to Beck.
And north is bad?
When Beck whipped her head to glare at Murasaki again, he quickly put his hands in the air.
That isn't a complaint. That isn't a complaint. I just... You made it sound like north isn't a good option. I don't know what's over there.
Beck scoffed and shook her head. She couldn't help but smile a little.
You really are helpless, aren't you? Do you know any geography?
I'm not that interested in rocks.
Smacking her palm to her forehead, Beck groaned.
Not geology, geography. You know, locations, landmarks, and that sort of thing?
Oh, right. I thought you said geology.
Sure, of course.
Beck rolled her eyes.
So, do you?
Do I what?
Beck covered her face with both hands and started pressing her fingers hard into her forehead and massaging it.
Know of any locations, or landmarks, or anything at all?
You mean like geography?
Okay, are you actually this slow or are... I see.
Murasaki was grinning. He may not have started out trying to annoy her, but when he realized his ability to frustrate her, he gladly jumped into playing dumb. After all, she had already been rude enough to assume he was an idiot. Plus, she had a habit of annoying him, so it seemed fair.
Of course I know places. I know where Celadon is, and Saffron's right next door, pretty much, and I knew exactly how to get to Lavender Town.
Beck waited a moment, thinking he might reveal what else he knew. As the silence stretched, she started to get nervous that it was all he knew.
So, that's all you...
No, there's the cycling hill, and Vermilion's to the, southwest.
You just know that last one because I told you where we were going.
Murasaki's eyes shifted to the side.
Nuh-uh.
Sure. And what town is closest to the other end of Cycling Road?
Well, I've never been there before, but I mean it's,
Fuchsia City.
Exactly.
Beck frowned at Murasaki, who tried to play innocent. Not wanting to argue about it, she shook her head and simply gave him the info of what awaited them to the north.
To get north of Lavender Town, there is a long cavern known as Rock Tunnel. It's very dark, and there are some dangerous Pokemon in there.
Ah, so you did mean geology.
What?
Rock Tunnel.
Beck rolled her eyes again.
Oh, just come on.
The pair continued their path down the boardwalk route to the south. Neither said another word for a while. It wasn't until Beck seemed to spot something in the distance that the silence was broken.
What's that?
Where?
Murasaki asked, squinting his eyes in an effort to see better. Beck pointed.
Just down there. It looks really close to where our route splits off.
It took another moment for Murasaki to locate the right spot. Once he did, he tilted his head slightly to see if a different angle would help him figure it out.
I don't know. Let's keep going and find out.
They did just that, and it didn't take long to discover that what they had seen was a large, rotund Pokemon.
Oh, it's a Snorlax,
Murasaki stated.
Oh no.
What? I've heard they can be really tough, but that one looks like it's sleeping. We'll be fine.
It's not that.
Beck sighed. she flopped her arm out in a defeated gesture.
Look where it fell asleep.
Murasaki took in the surroundings of the enormous Pokemon, and then he started to figure it out.
Oh, I see.
Where the paths came to a sort of T-intersection was where the Snorlax had decided it was most comfortable, and rightly so, as it was the only place with some shade, provided by a walled canopy that marked the branching route. The only way to continue on any part of the path was to go through it, and the Snorlax was sleeping underneath it, and its body was so large it consumed the openings in and out.
Well, maybe we can beat him. Maybe I can even catch him.
Maybe.
Beck replied in a tone that hinted that she didn't think it would be likely.
I've heard they are really difficult to wake up, though.
Came this far? Might as well try.
Murasaki reached for Stunner first. Then, remembering that his form of attacks didn't really hit hard, the boy pulled out his new Vulpix instead.
Perhaps a little fire will get him moving. Go, 6!
Vulpix emerged, and Murasaki immediately had it start throwing little blasts of fire underneath the Snorlax. In response, the creature snorted, yawned wide, shifted slightly to one side, and then scratched where it was being burned before resuming a loud snore.
Nice work, kid.
Murasaki glared at Beck. He almost yelled about the nickname again, but instead he said,
At least I'm trying. You could try and help, you know.
Beck shrugged.
Give it a go, Ronan. Hit the Snorlax with your bone club.
As soon as the Cubone emerged, it charged forward, leapt into the air, and swung the bone club down onto the Snorlax's foot as hard as it could. The only response was a slight twitch.
I don't think that's going to be enough.
But if we keep hitting it, it'll wake up eventually.
Beck opened her mouth to respond, but instead, an answer came from the Snorlax.
I don't think it will.
To be continued.